What's going on, guys? The Barber Phil here, back again with another haircut tutorial. And in today's cut, we've got a new client to me and to the shop here at Clutch. But I wanted to go ahead and pull the camera out, get this on video, get something out to you guys. So what we've got is a simple taper fade. We're gonna do a 3 up and off at the parietal ridge, fade it down from there. That's how you guys know I do it. Taper out the temple and in the neck area, and then she mentioned putting 2 lines in the side as the design. I did ask for a little bit of creative freedom. She obliged, and so we're going to throw a freestyle in there. So let's get right into this tutorial. Alright guys, so if you know me, you know that I do modify my clippers for the most part. Nothing that I have is standard as it come, except for my cordless detailer. So what I have here, just in a quick review, this is the Cordless Senior with the Eco battery from Tomb 45. Make sure you go check that out. And then I have the Oster Fast Feed Steel blade in combo with the ceramic cutting blade. And the reason I like that Oster Fast Feed blade for 2 reasons. One, it has a very long range for that open section. I feel like it opens up wider than say your standard senior blade. And then I like it because it uses the purple Andes guards, and those have slowly become my go-to guards. And so what we're doing here, I have a 3 guard on this clipper. I have it all the way closed. We took it from the bottom just to remove a lot of the bulk, kept it flush to the side of her head, and then as it got up to that parietal ridge area where you can see that guard physically start to want to separate from her head, you just go a little bit slower, allow that hair to really feed through there so you get a nice even cut and an even blend, and just let that clipper right off the side of her head. Do not round it up over that parietal ridge, and you don't have to make a huge exaggerated scoop out. Just make sure that when you get to the top of every stroke, you are slowly rocking that clipper away from her head or your client's head, and you should always have a nice soft blend. Now what I'm doing here, grab the 40T blending shears, and I'm just hitting that top connecting area just to soften it up ever so slightly. Now what I am doing the rest of the way down, I did skip guard, so we went from the 3 guard closed. This is the 1.5 open, and I started all the way down at the bottom in the nape area, and we're going to bring this up through here, try to flick out up into that 3. Obviously we're going to come in and do a little bit of detail work to blend it out a little bit better later on, but it's just a way to skip guard as you work your way down, be a little bit more time efficient, and you can still get a really nice clean blurry end result when it's all said and done. So the last step in the fade before getting into the actual taper is to take the 1 guard open, remove all the rest of the bulk at the bottom, kind of flick out up into that 1.5 that we just did. Make sure you have your client's ear folded down and you get all the hair that might grow in different directions above the ear knocked out to the same level. I've got her mask pulled down. We're going to do the lever all the way closed and just kind of flick through that temple area. That way we know that we can taper up into that 1 guard, and then also clean up the C-cup a little bit so that that FX really feeds through there nice and puts a nice C-cup as well. Now what we're doing here, this is a little bit of that detail work I was talking about. I have that 3 guard back out closed. We're flicking through there one last time just to make sure that that is nice and blended out, and then there is still a dark spot right below that, so we're going to grab the 2 guard, open that lever all the way up, and then just flick up into that 3 guard that we just did, just to make sure that we've got that detailed out nice and even. You can close the lever up slowly. Make sure that what you're always doing, guys, is you're doing 2 things. You're physically looking at the hair being cut, so you're going to see that hair build up on your clipper. That's one indication that you are actually cutting hair. Or listen for the sound of that hair being cut. If you're not seeing the hair build up and you're not seeing or hearing the hair get cut, then you're probably just making ghost swipes and wasting your time. Go ahead, close that lever up a little bit, or drop down a guard and continue on with that same process. Now to go ahead and taper it out, we did the FX bald line there at the bottom. Follow that up by flicking it out with the detailer. That clipper that just had the green lid, that is my magic clip with the eco battery from Tomb, and I actually have that with the Filthy Mod master blade, and we have it all the way closed. We just flicked out that detailer blade, opened it up a little bit with the one guard, and that blended right up into what we did previously. Now we've got the FXs out. We're gonna go ahead and do a nice roundabout her ear, and then follow that down, give a nice sharp line down her neckline, and that really sets up the framework for us to come in later on and do a nice taper. So I did speed up the right side just a little bit, guys, but it's the exact same steps. That's the key to success, guys, is always having consistency in what you do. So right now we've got that 3 guard on here. We're starting kind of towards the base, making sure that we remove a lot of that hair on the sides, and then when we get up to that parietal ridge area, you slow down a little bit, allow that hair to really feed through there nice and even. Keep that clipper flush to the head, and then as it starts to want to round off, just kind of slowly rock that clipper away from their head. That's going to be the best way to eliminate back end work as far as leaving a shelf, leaving too harsh of a line. All those things, guys, can be easily avoided if you just make sure you take your time and really kind of rock out with every stroke. So right here we did switch over to the 1.5. Like I said, we skip guarded our way down. We're just going to start at the bottom again, make sure that we are continuing to remove all that bulk, and then once you get up to where you're closer to that 3 guard section we just did, you're going to really make sure that you're flicking out up into it. Here is the 1 guard. Same steps, guys. You're going to clean out the taper area, fold down the ear, make sure you get all that hair cleaned up, make sure the C-cup's nice and knocked down, and then you can clean up back in the bottom of the base in the nape area, flicking up into that 1.5, and then you can come in, do a little bit of detail work, and you're on your way. So we are using the FXs to go ahead and put that roundabout her ear. Make sure you fold that ear down. You make sure that all that hair that is above the ear is cut down. It's a spot that I've mentioned a lot of times in videos that barbers tend to leave. It's just an area that gets rushed. You know, you've ran your 1 guard through there closed and you assume that that's just close enough. But sometimes that hair will go right down in that all the way down, almost on the ear itself. Make sure that you pay attention to that. Nice sharp C-cup, and then you're going to flick out with that FX line. Come in with your detailer, flick it out. This is the master blade all the way closed. You open it up a little bit, then open it up all the way, working your way up just ever so slightly, and then I got the 1 guard on there. We flicked up into the previous 1 guard that we did. Then there is the fast feed blade that I opened all the way up, and that really detailed it out. Now I do have the 0 guard in there just to go ahead and make sure that everything is blended correctly. Guys, you can do all these steps with whatever clippers you have. You may have to adjust a tad bit where my clippers might be more open than yours or might be more closed than yours as far as 0 gapped or all the way open. But for the purposes of the steps, everything will work the same way. So you guys can follow along with that with whatever clipper sets that you have. This is a good angle, guys, to be able to see the taper and how it comes about. So we did the FX at the bottom, followed up by the detailer. This is my closed clipper, and then we slowly opened it up as we worked our way up. Now I've gotten my clipper that's a little bit more open. We did the 1 guard just to make sure that it's blended up into the 1 guard we previously did. Then we used that closed clipper with the 0 guard that blended all the way out. Now what I'm doing, I have a 40T blending shears. I'm just hitting the perimeter all the way around through here just to make sure everything is nice and softened up, and then we'll get into cutting the top down to the desired length. So her hair wasn't long enough to really do block graduation per se, but I did section it off a little bit so that back fell down into the parietal ridge area nice and blended. And then from here, I'm kind of working everything towards that section that I started with in the back. Once I get to about the mid area of her top here, I did step off to the side and I started working from that left to right pulling from the previous section as a guide for the section that I was currently working on, and then we kind of point cut the bangs a little bit just to make sure that they weren't blunt straight across. What I'll do after that, I'll add a little bit of the level 3 paste. We're just going to kind of give this a rough draft style here. I'm going to comb it in, make sure that it's combed in nice and even, so that pomade is distributed through the hair. And then we're just going to use our fingers and kind of mess it up a little bit and get right into the design. Now, I am the first to admit I am not the greatest at envisioning designs. What you see me doing there is just trying to visualize it before I actually get into it, because once you get into a design, there's no going back. And I don't have the creative mind to really, if I mess up, just turn it into something. So I have a go-to design that I really have mastered, I guess, if you will, to whatever extent that is. A lot of kids call it the lightning bolt. So I do this one a lot. So anytime somebody says, do your thing, that's usually what I go with. It's an angled line, kind of a half circle from the point of her C cup meeting her vertical bar. You kind of round that up, and then you do a sharp angle back down, like a Z shaped almost. And then you can just stop it in the back when you do that rounded area, but I did go ahead and add in this extra corner. It just makes the design fill up a little bit more space, adds a little bit more creativity to it. You can actually blow out this back here wider, and if you've taken it down far enough, you can do the design up into it, and that's a nice cool way to connect your taper in the back to the design. That's not what we went with this time, but I hope you guys enjoyed that. So this is the before, guys. Like I said, first time visit, guys. This is a new client to me. I never cut her hair before, but she's got good hair to cut. It's really great hair for designs. So this may be something we do in the future. Take a second, guys. Hit me up in that comment section. Let me know what you thought. If you're new to the channel, guys, please go ahead, hit that subscribe button. Turn on that notification bell. That way you never miss another video from me. Like the video if you liked it. Dislike it if you didn't. Those likes and those comments, guys, get us into the algorithm and the recommendeds on YouTube. So make sure that you guys are doing that. I really appreciate you guys and all the support. Until the next video, guys, we'll catch you in the next one.